do it.
I'd like to call to order tonight's Bedford County School Board meeting for July 10th, 2025. Ms. Johnson, if you will, please take roll call.
Mr. M. Hill,
Here.
Mr. Daniels,
Here.
Mrs. Bedrosian, Mr. S. Hill, Mr. Holbrook,
Here.
Dr. Hubuck,
Here.
Mrs. Purvis. Here. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I apologize. I should have notified you. Mr. S. Hill did let me know that he would not be here tonight. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Daniels. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Purvis. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, agenda is approved. All right, if you will, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, staff reports 2.01, Superintendent's report. Mr. DePere.
Good evening and welcome to summer. At least summer for a little while, especially for those sitting to my right. We'll be back in session in the next month or so. But I'd like to start tonight by discussing some of the changes that are taking place in the division. First of all, identify 3 new elementary principals and several central office leadership positions. And also, just to follow up, the executives and the principals have been really busy over the last 2 to 3 weeks with approximately 7 assistant principal positions, because once you start moving people, it's a dominoes, and so we've been very diligent in going through many resumes and many interviews. And so I'd like to start by just announcing those publicly, and I know they've already to some extent been announced in our school division, but there are 3 new elementary principals, one at Huddleston Elementary. That will be Miss Lisa Wilson, who is coming to us from an AP position at Goodview Elementary. New London Academy, new principal, Dr. Jennifer Klein, comes to us from an AP position at Liberty High School. And Thomas Jefferson has a new principal, Dr. Kelly Baldwin, who was principal of Dunbar Middle in Lynchburg City. There's also 3 positions that have been filled in the central office and support staff, and that is Sarah Yost, coordinator of data and planning, was an AP at Liberty Middle School. Jessica Schenko is coordinator of secondary counseling and testing, and she comes from a lead counselor's position. And we're excited to have a new supervisor of transportation in Jeffrey Lee. This week, the administrators have been busy. We've had our second phase of administrative training. And so this week, the coverage was pretty much into the instructional side. We had one in June 8th and 9th, and it was into the operational side. And so this week, the administrators spent 2 full days at CVCC in Bedford discussing programming, instruction, SPED, support student services, and an overall discussion of academic expectations of 25-26 school year. This is, again, the second phase, complementary to our first, which was more operational campus safety, security, technology, and school policies that relate to clinics. I'd also, again, like to thank CVCC for allowing us to come in and take over their property for those 2 days. It's always well received when we get a fresh location and great discussions. I'd also like to thank the departments under student services with Mr. Tucker and also Dr. Trosper in instruction They did a phenomenal job of preparing our principals and administrators on the changes that are happening in Virginia. The rest of what I'd like to talk about is really coming out of summer and moving into the new school season. New teacher and staff orientation. We'll see right now about 150 new employees coming into Bedford County, and this takes place on August 4th and 5th, Monday and Tuesday, with a 2-day orientation and introduction. Teacher work week or preparation week for the 25-26 school year is planned for Wednesday, August 6th through Tuesday, August 12th on each school's campus. Parents are encouraged to attend during that week, second phase of that week, and in this kickoff with an open house on their campuses August 11th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. This is a great opportunity for parents and to be able to meet their new administrators and also to meet their teachers. And we look forward to seeing you and spending quality time with you on that day. First day of school is Wednesday, August 13th, and you'll hear this again next month in a meeting. We're excited to welcome our administrators, staff, faculty, and most importantly, our students back on that particular day. I would send this reminder out to students and parents who use the bus transportation that you make sure that you confirm your bus routes, make sure that you confirm your locations and pick up and drop off. And if you choose to drop off and pick up, as happens with any new school year, the first several days are pretty hectic, so make sure that you understand all of your drop-off and pickup times. I'd like to encourage all of us to welcome the new staff as we get on campus, but also just really look forward to a great year. We anticipate that we will have some strong scores in SOL, and we're excited about where we're going. Reminder, and I don't think a lot of people know this, so I'm going to say it every single time I get the chance to open my mouth. Last year we scored out, previous year at 36th in the state. I think that's overwhelming, and I think it's something that we should spend a little more time talking about. But 36th in the state of 131 school divisions. That is a great accomplishment, and I would give a lot of that credit to those individual groups in the central office, the executive team who is constantly tweaking what we have to do for the state. And as I go county to county and division to division over time and go to division meetings with other superintendents, they often will ask the question, what are you doing to get to this level? And so it's one of the discussions that I would like to continue to have with divisions, is how we can work together as divisions to not only learn what they do better, but also what we do better. And so I'm very proud of what has been accomplished this year, and I think that we have great opportunity to continue that this year. Oh, well, that's even better. Open house runs till 7. Oh, okay. So it's 12 to 7. So that gives parents the time to get there after work. That concludes my report. Again, welcome to everyone. We're getting close to the new start of the school year and looking excitedly for that. Can't wait to have students back on our campuses. And thank you very much.
Sure. 2.02, end of year financials, Mr. Hagler.
Yes, good evening. Met with the Finance Committee earlier this week to review several things. One of those is the end-of-year financials. This is a preliminary report, pre-audit, so there may be some numbers that change by once the audit's done, and any correcting entries that need to be done. But this is a first glimpse of how we ended the year and all of our funds. In the operating fund, we'll kind of start there. You can see that in our revenues, we came in about a little over $1 million under budget there. So pretty strong year. Most of that due to some federal funds that were over budgeted in CARES Act that we didn't have any more money left there, and in the state drop off due to some enrollment and also sales tax. So a little bit of over $1 million under budget off $125 million budget, so pretty close on that. On the next page, we have the expenditures. And on the expenditures, a little bit more explanation is needed. $2.9 million under budget on the expenditure side. So we did fairly well there, but with the expenditure side, you have to remember that we budgeted in all the money for all in. The state's already given us that money 2 years ago, that has to be expended by the end of next year. So any of those funds that have not been spent were budgeted in last year, but we didn't spend them all. So we have about 1.7 million yet to spend on that. That will carry over to next year. So I have to deduct that 1.7 million off of that 2.9 million under expenditure budget. So when you put all that together, I'm coming in under budget on the revenues, under budget on the expenditures, and accounting for the all-in. My ending balance I'm projecting for the operating fund is about $108,000. So off $125 million, $108,000 remaining. Can't call it closer than that. And so, as Mr. Hill was saying, do I have sleepless nights in the month of May and June? I do. But we're putting as much as the money to work in the schools as we can with very little reserves. So very pleased that we ended the year so strong there. I'll be happy to answer questions on the operating fund there. The next few pages have a little bit more details, and then we'll go to some of the other funds on the back page. But any questions on the expenditures or revenues on the operating funds? Okay. We'll go over to the other funds now. In board docs, it's the last page on the financial report. The nutrition fund. Some of the board members remember from last year, we ran a deficit last year, near over $1 million on that fund, and so we gave that a lot of attention this year. Briefed the finance committee on some of those, and we've been watching that fund and the expenditures and revenues in there. We're projecting about a $392,000 loss this year. I think that's going to be a little bit better once we get done with some final bank reconciliations and journal entries we have to do, but I'm projecting about $350,000 loss. We'll continue to keep an eye on this, as it's supposed to be a self-funded type of program, but the inflation over the last 3 or 4 years have really hit us hard, and we're doing everything we can to mitigate that and get it back to where we're breaking even on this. We will be reducing some staff members next year, which will help overcome some of this, and there will be an increase in some meal prices for next year, which we briefed the finance committee on. So this is one that is giving us concern, but the finance committee is keeping an eye on that. We'll be given a more detailed school-by-school profit and loss at our next meeting. So that's the nutrition fund. I'll pause on each one of these to see if there's any questions that you might have. Yes, ma'am.
I know that there's been some legislation coming down from the federal government about dyes and stuff, and putting that, has this budget, is this a reflection of changing those things? And
the budget's built based on our most current and what we're trying to get accomplished. We do have reserves, so if like we operated at a loss, but we had built up reserves in previous years where we could absorb that. There's several different things coming down with legislation. One is on the dyes, and so the manufacturers are going to have to retool to meet those requirements, and that may be an increase in prices there. Don't know if tariffs or anything else are going to have them, but we have to adjust to the expenditures and what things are costing constantly. I will say that I don't believe the state and the federal government recognizes the increase in cost that they're giving to us, and so I look at that as an unfunded mandate. We're absorbing cost with no more revenue, and so that's hard, and that's why it's difficult right now. Another one I briefed the committee on is that I believe the state of Virginia passed that they're trying to get rid of styrofoam. Well, we serve a lot of our meals with styrofoam plates, so we don't have a dishwasher. The alternative is going to more of a paper or cardboard-based plate, which is probably 3 times the cost of styrofoam. So once again, a law's passed, we have to adjust to it. No one's recognizing the increase in cost on that. So that's why we're constantly looking through that. But yes, ma'am, we'll be watching that, and that may impact our bottom line on our expenditures, as those vendors may have to increase their cost. We're not sure if that's going to happen yet or not. Yep.
Randy, let me just make a comment. We never want to see a loss. $300,000 is still a big number, but I want to compliment you and your team. Last year it was $1 million loss. You've got it down to $392,000 with some additional changes that are taking place. Again, loss is never good, but we're moving in the right direction. I just want to say thank you to you and your team for addressing that. So.
And in addressing this, we're looking at our cost, but we're also looking at what we're serving, making things more appealing as we can. There's been some changes done. We're trying different things at different schools, especially at the high schools. where we can drive up the revenues. So that's the goal. Increase revenues and watch our costs. So I think the Finance Committee is optimistic, and so am I, on this next year, and we're going to watch what's happening, especially with this fund next year. But it is one that we're a little bit more concerned about. The next fund is the textbook fund. This is where we build up funds for major adoptions and also spending reoccurring costs for workbooks. Projected balance there after backing out a reserve for the math adoption we just did. We have not paid for those. That'll be paid in July, so about $1.4 million for that math adoption. Ending balance projected at $861,000. During the budget process, I do project out 5 years to make sure we have enough money for all the adoptions that are coming up. So this fund's in good shape. Even though it's at 861, it'll build back up for our next adoption, I think, in 2 years.
Our next adoption, sorry, is it for history next year? Is it next year?
I'd have to look. I'll look that up and check here in a minute. It might be history. That's the next one.
And so we are going to need to add to this, this balance?
There'll be money coming in next year for this to build that back up. We put local and state money in here, so that will. This is what we have to carry over, and then there will be an additional. I think we're putting, $600,000 locally in here, and there's almost $900,000 coming in from the state next year. So that will build back up to allow us to do that adoption. Yeah. Maintenance Reserve Fund, the facility committee and works through this. I think at the last board meeting, which I wasn't here at, there was a presentation done on all the projects we're doing this summer. Our maintenance crew is very busy. And it's quite hot out there, but we're getting a lot accomplished. I'm just going to talk to the balance here. When we have, at our August meeting, we'll have an update from the facility committee. Talk to Matt Holbrook before we came in, and they will brief you on how did all the projects go this summer, making sure that we met the deadline to come in on school. So we'll give you a detailed report on everything that we got done this summer. But on financial standpoint, ending balance that we're carrying over is about $9.1 million. I will say almost all of that and some above that is going to be dedicated towards the Liberty High School and Stanton River High School HVAC renovations. Each one of those could be $5 to $6 million each. We'll have additional money going in there next year on top of this that will help pay for those, but those are the next two projects. Those are already being worked up by our engineers, and we'll put those out for bid in the fall, and we'll report to the facility committee on those, and they'll look over those bid results. So a lot of that money is already committed for those two projects next year. So we're in good shape there. We do have money coming into the account for the next few years until reversion ends, and then we'll have to address the issue going forward beyond that. But we have the money for the next 2 or 3 years to do the projects we have on our CIP. And the last fund is the self-insured health fund. Like the nutrition fund, this is one that's been concerning. The previous year, our reserves went down by $2 million, and this last year they went down by another $2.2 million. So 2 years ago, I had about over $6 million in reserves. The ending balance at the end of this past year was $2.6 million. We did go up on our health insurance rates by 10% next year. That will pump in another $1 million in premiums into this account. I'm hoping that these costs can come down. Typically, you have a bad year, what really hits your account every 5, 6, 7 years. We've had 2 bad years in a row, so I'm hoping for a better year next year. But once again, inflation and other things have really hit this hard. I think the inflation and some of the pharmaceuticals have really hit it hard. So Finance Committee has, we're talking about different ideas to mitigate, look at different options. And so we'll continue to keep our eye on this. Long term, we'll have to continue to go up on our premiums if these costs continue to come in like this. With our self-insured fund, we do have a stop loss that if a claim goes over a certain amount that we get reinsurance from. We had a bad year where we got no stop loss reimbursements. So all the claims were under that, which is $275,000. So no claims went over $275,000. So we had to pay for all those. So this is another one like the nutrition fund we're keeping a close eye on, and we're looking for everything that we can do to mitigate that and make sure we keep the reserves that we need. But watching $4 million flow out over 2 years has been concerning. Be happy to answer any questions you might on that fund. Okay. All right. Thank you.
We'll go to number 6.01, approval of policy updates presented at the June 12th, 2025 board meeting. Mr. Dupere.
Intergovernmental Affairs Committee met on June 5th, 2025 to review proposed revisions to the following policies for approval. First is CLA, reporting acts of violence and substance abuse. Next, FG, retirement of facilities. GBR, voluntary retirement savings program. IKF, the Virginia Assessment Program and graduation requirements. JC, school attendance areas. JEC, school admission. JM, restraint and seclusion of students. LBD, home instruction. And LC, charter schools.
Motion to approve the policies as presented at the June 12th, 2025 board meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Daniels. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Policies are approved. All right. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
Chair, I make a motion that pursuant to Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A1 for the discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific employees of Bedford County Public Schools.
I have a motion by Mr. Daniels. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Purvis. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now in closed session.
Oh, recognition, yep.
All right, do I have a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Daniels. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Holbrook. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are out of closed session. Ms. Johnson, if you will, certify.
Whereas the Bedford County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And where Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Bedford County School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Yes.
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 All right, we will go to recognitions.
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Mr. DeCarlo, can you please come forward on the stage to greet our students and staff? All right. Thank you to everyone for joining us tonight to celebrate these wonderful students and staff for their accomplishments recently. Bedford County definitely has showed off in the last school year. We're going to start off with the Central Virginia Regional Middle School Science Fair. It was held earlier in May at Heritage High School. There were 86 middle school students that presented their projects representing Amherst, Appomattox, Bedford, Campbell counties, as well as Lynchburg City. While Bedford County had multiple winners, we have one here to celebrate this evening. This outstanding achievement reflects your hard work, curiosity, and a strong passion for science. So please join me in congratulating Mr. Jace Carter from Stanton River Middle School for placing second in the physics category. Congratulations. All right, next are our PTA reflection winners. We have both state and national winners here tonight. The 2024-2025 PTA Reflections Contest was Accepting Imperfections. This contest asked students to create and submit original works of art in the areas of dance choreography, film production, literature, music composition, photography, and visual arts. Students are evaluated on the creativity, technique, and interpretation for their artworks at the county, state, and national levels, earning medals, scholarships, and certificates of excellence. Again, while BCS had many winners at all levels, a few are here to celebrate this evening. Students, I will call your name and describe your amazing achievement. Once you've walked on stage and been congratulated, please stand and wait for a group picture with all of you. We're going to start with Benjamin Messer from Liberty High School, who took home the state title of Outstanding Interpretation in Film category. We also have Jasmine Diaz from Stanton River High School. Who won the Award for Excellence for Accessible Arts at the state level. You can go ahead and go. Go ahead and go. And our last student to be recognized is Everett Graham, Liberty High School, who won the Award of Excellence at the national level after winning the Outstanding Interpretation at state level in photography. And I also want to recognize Miss Stella Osborne, who took the time to organize all of these wonderful entries and put on a great, now I can't even think of what it's called, award ceremony. That's what she did. So, thank you. All right. All right, next up, we have the team who enters the room with a bang, of a drum that is. Earlier this year, the JF Indoor Percussion Team made championship level noise by taking home the gold at the AIA Championship. Their rhythm was unstoppable and beats were unbeatable. So way to go to the students and staff from Forest Middle School as well as JF High School who participated in this incredible accomplishment. There are way too many of them to name, so team.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Has been pushed off the stage.
Congratulations. All right, we are staying in the Forest Zone for the rest of the evening. Next up, we're celebrating Forest Middle School's Odyssey of the Mind team for thinking their way straight to first place at the Virginia State Tournament this year. With wild creativity and problem-solving skills, you outwitted and out-imagined the competition. Way to turn brain power into a blue ribbon. Congratulations to the team. Last but not least, we have a familiar face here tonight. We have the Forest Middle School Drone Zone team. This team is made up of students from Forest Middle School, Jefferson Forest High School, and TJ Elementary School. They recently competed at the REC Foundation Aerial Drone Competition and earned Skills Champion. The Skills Pilot individually scored the highest points of any middle or high schooler in the nation. The elementary schools teams were the only elementary school to qualify in the entire region. The team was chosen as an alliance partner for the playoffs, and Ms. Watson was awarded Coach of the Year. The high school ranked number 5 overall for skills and number 3 for coding. So please join me in welcoming the skills pilot, Bennett Litchfield, and Ms. Watson, Coach of the Year. Chairman, this concludes student, staff, and recognition. No, thank you. I'll email you those pictures. You're welcome. I'll edit it and send it to you.
Thank you.
Public comment portion of tonight's agenda is limited to 40 minutes. Speakers are asked to state their name and voting district. The school board is here to listen to your comments, but will not engage or respond to speakers during this 40-minute period. Please remember that this is a public meeting and that we expect all speakers to refrain from any foul, profane, abusive, or hateful language during their comments or any time while in attendance during this meeting. We also ask that speakers keep their remarks objective and about the school in nature. Please keep all comments limited to matters related to the public schools, and any comments that are harassing or amount to a personal attack against any identifiable individual, whether board member or staff or student, or having the potential to cause unnecessary delay or disruption to this meeting are prohibited. This is a public meeting for public matters. If a speaker is not present when their name is called, we will proceed with the next name on the list. An individual who has not signed up to speak may not substitute for that time slot. Individuals will have 4 minutes to address the board. An alarm will sound when an individual has 30 seconds remaining, and a second alarm will sound when the allotted 4 minutes have expired. When the second alarm sounds, please discontinue speaking and allow the next person in line to come to the podium. Should you be unable to finish your comments, please send or give them to Ms. Johnson, and she will give them to board members. Please do not adjust the microphone at the podium as it has been positioned for optimum audio quality. First name is Kelly Harmony.
Hello, I'm Kelly Harmony, and I reside in District 6. Thank you all for serving on the Bedford County School Board. I know what your job is. I actually sat in that seat at one time, so thank you for what you do, because I know it can be a thankless job. I am, as I stated, Kelly Harmony. I am the program director for LifeWise Academy for Bedford County. LifeWise is a release time religious instruction program. It has been around since 2018, and this is made possible by a Supreme Court ruling in 1952 with 3 stipulations. This program must be conducted off school premises, privately funded, and parent permitted. We plan to launch this program in October, with Liberty Middle School being the first program. Students would attend this program once a week during lunch or their elective block. The students would be bused to Bedrock, Bedford, which is on Main Street across from Bella's. We are going to start enrollment soon. This is a program that is covered in your current policies. So we just appreciate your attention to this matter. Just wanted to bring forward our plans and appreciate your support. Thank you.
There are no other slots filled at this time. Is there anyone who's present that would like to speak? All right, seeing none, I will close out public comment. All right, do I have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda? Have a motion by Mr. Daniels. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Holbrook. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda is approved. Ms. Johnson, I have a process question. So the board needs to go back into closed session. So do I need to do that after matters from the board, or can we do it now if I have a motion?
If you have a motion, you can do it at any time. Do you have the code that you need?
Yes, it will be the same code
Hey,
as,
you can do it at any time. You don't have to wait until after matters from the board. You can do it before if you would like.
do I have a motion to go into closed session?
Mr. Chair, pursuant to Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A1 for the discussion, we go into closed session for the discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific employees of Bedford County Public Schools.
So I have a motion by Mr. Daniels. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Holbrook. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are back in closed session.
That's not good. Where you hang upside down? Cut traction.
All right, do I have a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
So we have a motion by Mr. Daniels. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Holbrook. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are out of closed session. Ms. Johnson, if you will certify.
Whereas the Bedford County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Bedford County School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Yes.
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 All right, next up is committee reports. Dr. Hubach, we'll start it with you.
We did not meet as a curriculum committee in the month of July yet, so we skipped June's meeting and we'll meet on July 22nd.
Well, we haven't met for Gov School or STEM Academy since the last time either, so.
Did you want to give some updates on what's going on with Gov School as far as personnel and the process of what you're trying to drive?
So the Gov School.
Chairman, could we have all board members make sure they speak into the microphone, just not picking up on the streaming, please?
The Gov School is, we found out that Dr. Smith will be retiring after next year. So the Gov School is the Gov School Board. We're putting together a process to find a new superintendent, or I guess it's called the clerk or director.
Yeah.
And so that meeting for that will be August 6th, when we will discuss what the processes will be. And then because Dr. Smith is the math teacher there as well as the director, we would have to either hire somebody who is a math person to take all of his classes as well, or if they're a science person, then there would have to be some shuffling going on. So, so that's the gist of that.
Mr. Daniels?
IGA has not met. I think we will be setting a schedule hopefully tonight to come up with the next IGA meeting here pretty soon.
We have not had a facility or PPEA meeting since the last meeting, or maybe even before that. As Randy said, we're going to have one in August, an update on everything, and then I don't believe the CTE has met either.
Gov School? Okay, all right, good deal. And then as far as the Finance Committee, we did meet this past Tuesday. We had a really good meeting. Some of the topics we talked about was, of course, the end-of-year financial analysis. We're looking at nutrition, as we talked about tonight. We've got a $300,000 deficit, which again, it's improvement over the $1 million from last year, but there are still some opportunities where we had some good discussion with our nutrition manager, and we're seeing some really positive changes. We talked about the nutrition prices, which are going up this year. Again, with a quarter, right? Okay, I didn't even have to look. Mr. Daniels helped me. So that'll be going up for breakfast and lunch, a quarter for our students. We talked about the health insurance, a consultant, and looking at that, and just really going through options as health insurance continues to rise. Are there other partnerships that we should be looking at what are our options as far as partnering with other divisions and being able to control pricing for us as a school system, but also for our employees. And, some of the topics that we, looked at was possibly, tiering what we're charging our employees based on salary. So we'll, more to come on that as we continue to look into the health insurance. Mr. Hagler is working to get us a solar analysis. We've got 2 schools where we have solar. Really interested in, is that paying off? Was it a benefit? Are we, really trying to compare, like, for example, Goodview's got the solar panels. Are we paying less at Goodview versus what we are paying at TJ? And it's the same size school, sister building. So really trying to do an analysis of how does that pay off. Let's see here. Next meeting is August 19th. And so we'll do our next finance meeting on August 19th. So, all right, comments and concerns from school board members. Kathleen, we'll start with you. Any comments? No. Okay. Mr. Holbrook?
No, sir.
Mr. Daniels?
Good?
Ms. Purvis? Dr. Hubach?
Pressing.
All right, I don't have anything either. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Before you do that, can I make my adjustment?
Yes, sir.
I didn't, I was kind of going off of the cuff here and going through the training of the last 2 months. And I would be remiss if I mentioned some department heads and I didn't mention others, and because they all put in a ton of work. But even when you go back to the June, you can talk about Paul Nazigan, who has done an incredible job in just trying to bring security and school campus safety together. Kelly Thomas and the clinic and nurses, and Kelly Jennings on SPED. You've heard me say this before, these individuals have put so much time into making sure that we put the best product out there for our kids and our school campuses. So I want to applaud them for what they've done in their leadership. Thank you.
Mr. Holbrook, do I still have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I have a motion by Mr. Holbrook. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Daniels. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned.